Hello everyone, welcome to another dripping episode of Gladiators Track with Akon, where we discuss happenings, development, challenges and development related to and within the Nigerian legal sector. Today, we have with us some of the most prominent, vastly experienced and well-learned legal professionals in the country. As we all know, no country is complete without its legal system, and its effectiveness is determined by those who ensure that laws are in place, they are fair and just, and they are properly determined and interpreted and applied to foster peace, prosperity, and continuous progress for the country and its people. It promises to be very insightful. Please stay with us.
The answer is straight to what we used to have in the past, and that is the Law Reform Commissions. Now, when you have the Law Reform Commission, they watch what had happened in the past and also work on the present in order to take care of the future. Now, that has been brought to the background. If we do have Law Reform Commission in the papers today, 1, 2, our court system. Now, when you have judgments from the appellate courts, in most cases, it gives direction to the lower court. When I talk of the appellate court, I talk of the Supreme Court, that is the apex court. Then I refer to the Court of Appeals. That is also part of it.
My expectations for his tenure, my thoughts on his appointment, he's eminently qualified, he's upright. I have interacted with him. I know him to be a man of integrity. He's not one of those judges that are looking for money or want to be rich. He's a practicing Muslim. He's content. He's very, very humble. You won't believe when he sees people like us, as small as we have behind him, the kind of courtesies he extends to, and is very good in his work. So, he writes good judgments, he writes many judgments, he does very well, and so is eminently qualified. I believe that the Supreme Court will get better under his tenure. I am looking forward to appointment of more justices.
Terrain has improved in some ways and also declined in some other ways. In terms of the areas of practice, we had very narrow fields of legal practice in those days. It was just criminal law, land law, conveyancing, a few contracts here and there. Fields like aviation, maritime were just coming up then. But today there's an explosion of legal areas of practice with not just this aviation and maritime and other areas coming up, but the internet also has helped to explode the dimensions of legal practice. So in that sector, I would say yes, there has been an improvement.
Quite shocking, as you would expect, but he did the honorable thing We've had other instances where people have not, and just carried on, to work, even though they knew they could not dispense, their services properly. He did the right thing, and I'm proud of his actions. Being able to give up that exalted office that I'm sure he has waited for all 30-something years before he rose to the point of being a chief. Is it dilapidated? No. How can we change it? We need to infuse technology. We need to ensure that the common man does not lose face in the judiciary. Our core is to protect the common man. If everything fails, judiciary is there for us. We all say justice delayed is like justice denied. We need to do things a bit more promptly. We need to ensure that cases come through the court system, and there's quick dispensation of justice. Let's look at the number of judges per state. Lagos, for example, has less than 50 judges. Lagos has 25 million people. It's a mega city. You can't expect about 50 judges to administer justice effectively. Those are the challenges that we have now that you are seeing. What can we do to bring it back? What can we do? What we can do is, first, let's have the clear autonomy of the judiciary. Let them have the ability to, increase the number of judges. For example, I think most of the states where there's autonomy, capital expenditure, there's no autonomy. And so judges need to drive around. Judges need to build more courtrooms. It shouldn't be the executive building courtrooms for the judges. But that's what we have today.
His retirement came to everybody as a shock. But when the reason came out, and his official reason was that he retired on health grounds, that is what it is, then there's nothing anybody can do about it. The only thing that got people a bit worried was that before then, there were stories that the other judges of the Supreme Court were up in arms against the CJN, before the sudden retirements. The legal system is dilapidated. Health sector, dilapidated. Educational sector, dilapidated. The country is dilapidated. Nigeria is dilapidated. If we must fix it, I have to fix everything. If you fix the legal sector and the health sector is not working well, it's not good for the country. If you feel the health sector, the education sector is not working well, it's not good for the country. ASU has been on strike now for, I think, about the 7th month. That's incredible. That's incredible. It's even this ASU. This is university where you train lawyers, train doctors, train teachers, train engineers. Now, when they go on strike for this very long period of time and they resume, it's more like a crash program. They will push out half-baked lawyers, push out half-baked doctors, push out half-baked engineers, push out half-baked teachers. Ultimately, the country will be the loser. So the dilapidation in the legal sector is a reflection of what's happening in society, Nigeria as a whole. Very unfortunate, regrettable, and very worrisome. Next year is election. We're all looking forward to 2023 and believing that whoever comes in got a lot of work to do.
When we talk of the problems of the judiciary, it readily brings out the issue of reform. The head of an organization is usually the most appropriate person to champion a regime of reforms. If the head is not willing to champion, positive reforms, you then find that the actions of other parties, in bringing to fruition such reforms may be a little bit lethargic. All right? Justice Tanko cannot be credited to have championed fundamental reforms in the judiciary. We look up to Justice Ariwola to be able to champion fundamental changes, reforms that will address some of the challenges in the judiciary. Basically, service delivery, quick dispensation of justice is the hallmark of an effective and efficient judiciary. As it is today, One of the things you can say that possibly brings the judiciary to disrepute is the length of time it takes to secure justice. Whether in the magistrate court, in the high courts, in the court of appeal, in the Supreme Court, the problem is the same. For you to effectively litigate a matter, moving through all the various stratas of the courts until you get to the apex court, sometimes it takes 15 years. Even within the magistracy, sometimes it takes 2 to 3 years. A simple landlord and tenant matter can drag on to over 18 months. At the Supreme Court, it is worse. As at today, the backlog of cases, the appeals that have been filed, 3-4 years, they haven't secured a date to be heard at the Supreme Court. What are the problems? In my view, you can look at it from 2 perspectives. One of them is the court system itself. Why is it possible that a litigant can move from the magistrate court to the high court, from the high court to the court of appeal, from the court of appeal to the Supreme Court? And in some cases, such a movement takes place with respect to interlocutory matters. And then it then gets to the apex court after 5-7 years. Then it comes back again to the lower court. That system needs to be reformed. We need constitutional reform. The body of senior advocates of Nigeria and the body of benchers of Nigeria have actually taken initiative to put together bills for reform of the system, bills for reform of the Legal Practitioners Act, bills to introduce legal practice regulatory bill, and also a bill to reform the Supreme Court itself. Some of these initiatives will come to fruition under the new regime of Justice Ariwoola, and hopefully the judiciary will be better for them. The legal profession had never been static. Change is constant in life, in society. So it is in the legal profession. Over the years, the number of qualified legal practitioners have always been on the increase. Insofar as the numbers are increasing vis-a-vis the population, you can say that legal knowledge and legal services are being made readily more available to Nigerians. And today, quite a number of Nigerians are much more aware of their legal rights than when, I started in the profession some 30-something years ago.
I would not want to agree with the description of the legal sector as being dilapidated. I will agree that we have challenges. Within the rank of lawyers, for example, we have challenges. There have been allegations of wrongdoing against some of our members of the profession, including the younger ones and even some of the elders of the profession. But the good thing about it is that the profession has laws, rules, regulations that guide its affairs. We have disciplinary mechanism that have been put in place. And I believe that from time to time, the profession is exploiting these laws, rules, and regulations. For example, in recent time, I'm aware that the Legal Practitioner Disciplinary Committee, which is charged with the body of disciplinary errant lawyers, has been more active than ever before. They sit more frequently now, and cases of discipline against errant lawyers have been expeditiously determined. It's now a matter of public notice that the former Chief Justice of Nigeria, Honorable Justice Ibrahim Tanko Muhammad, has resigned from the bench. And since that time, I've had a new Chief Justice of Nigeria, firstly in acting capacity, and later in substantive capacity, talking about General Justice Olukayode Ariwoola. And you will see that the transition was so smooth. There was no lacuna of whatever sort, and the Nigerian judiciary is working very well.
I honestly believe that the Legal Practitioners Act, the way it is good. The problem of the profession is not about lack of laws, but it's about implementation of the laws. It's about observance of the laws. I believe that if the extant provisions of the Legal Practitioners Act are properly implemented, then the situation will improve. Well, for the legal sector, I've said it, the first thing they will have to do will be to genuinely collaborate with the judiciary to ascertain their needs, to do appropriate funding for the judiciary, and to avoid a situation whereby members of the judiciary, especially judges, will be cowed through agencies of state. They should allow the judiciary to operate as an autonomous body. They should respect what is called the rule of law. Once judgments are given, they should be obeyed. If sanctions are passed, they should be respected. And of course, as an important organ of the state, they should be carried along in formulating policies that may affect the judiciary. This will be my minimum expectations from the incoming government. Well, the challenges facing KK Co. is not so peculiar to KK Co. Generally, the economy is not in good shape. Because of that, practitioners, especially private practitioners, are affected. Because many of the clients are already impoverished. If somebody is impoverished, he's hardly able to do what is expected. This is very sad. There is also the challenge of even running the facilities. For example, availability of power, water supply, and some other infrastructure, and even security.
Yusuf Ali SAN is a man of many parts, a seasoned lawyer with over 3 decades of experience, a philanthropist with meaningful contributions outside the legal circle, and has earned accolades and respect beyond the shore of Nigeria. He is the principal partner and founder of Yusuf O. Ali & Co., a reputable law firm with offices across Ilorin, Lagos, and Abuja. He began his 44 years journey in the legal field in 1978 with his Bachelor of Law degree at the University of Ife. He proceeded to the Nigerian Law School, where he graduated with second-class upper honors in 1983. He joined the law firm of Adegbo Igawu Molo & Co., where he rose to the level of a partner before he left to start his law firm in June 1994. Yusuf Ali SAN was appointed as a notary public by the Chief Justice of Nigeria in 1989 before he went back to the University of Ife to obtain his Masters of Law degree in 1991. He has made scholarly contributions to legal books and over 40 published articles. He is a member of several professional bodies and served on the board of companies and institutions. His philanthropic works through its foundation cut across the whole of Nigeria and beyond. Listed in Nigeria as well as American Biographical Institute Who is Who, and in 1997 he was conferred with the deserved title of Senior Advocate of Nigeria, SAN.
He has set a good tone for others to follow. Chief Justices come, they go. The institution remains. Since after his exit, we've had somebody else come into the seat. So there was no vacancy, it was seamless transition from A to B. And I think that's also very important and instructive. Immediately he resigned, the next in line, number 2, came on board as acting Chief Justice of Nigeria. And only last week he was confirmed by the Senate of the Federal Republic as the substantive Chief Justice of our country. That's how organized institutions operate. To let you know that the answer is no, is the fact that I have been part of the efforts at promoting amendment to the Legal Practitioners Act. And I can tell you as a life bencher and a member of the body of benchers, there is now before the National Assembly an harmonized Legal Practitioners Act before the National Assembly that we are expecting that will be passed into law. Undoubtedly, a 1962 Act cannot be adequate for today, 40, 50 years after. Law is dynamic, the society is dynamic, law is progressive, the society must be progressive. So there are a lot of other things that we need to tinker with so that you can bring the Legal Practitioners Act up to standard of today. The highlight first and foremost was the emphasis now on professional development. The new vistas, new areas of practice were promoted for lawyers to be able to see. And then number two, the sections created by the MBA, I was privileged to be the pioneer chairman of the section on legal practice. The section on legal practice, section on business law, all of them are now thriving. Many lawyers now belong to the sections. When we started, it was just MBA. And this is promoting a lot of specialization or ability for people to be able to specialize in different areas of the law. So I believe that the conference, of course, is a melting pot for us as lawyers. That's the place you meet your colleagues. Some you've not seen for some years. Some you have seen in recent times. So it provided opportunity for having to come together all over the places and having to meet and exchange views and ideas on the best way to carry on the practice of our profession. I was privileged to be the moderator of one of the sessions that dealt with corruption. They know that I'm an anti-corruption crusader. I'm happy to tell you that there are more adherents now to the promotion of integrity in legal practice. A lot of our younger colleagues are buying into that. And that's very important because, like I always tell people, no matter what you do, even as a cleaner, once you don't have integrity, everything is at a loss. So integrity is very important because once you have integrity, you want to obey and abide by the rules of professional ethics. You wouldn't want to do anything that will bring the profession into opprobrium or disgrace. You wouldn't want to disgrace your own name and the name of your parents. You want to do everything in accordance with the law. So that is one. Number two is that the enthusiasm of our younger colleagues, if you can translate it positively, will go a long way in helping to address the few negative views of individuals about legal practice in our country. Number three, it also brought judges and lawyers together to exchange views and talk frankly about issues that could be clogged in the wheel of progress of the judicial system. On paper, we are independent, but we have put ourselves in shackles by the lack of good governance all these years. When I was in the university, I attended the then University of Ife. There were foreigners in Ife doing undergraduate work. We have so many foreign lecturers teaching. At those times, it never crossed our minds that Nigerians will be going to Togo or Ghana to go and look for university education. But today, look at where we are. And like the late MQ Abola will say, I'm doing rough translation. He said, you gave birth to a baby in a corrugated iron sheet building. You now went out to go do the naming in a thatch roof. Is that progress or lack of progress? For me, there is a lot of things to make us to, as Nigerians, to do soul searching. The whole brouhaha about who will be president, it must come from one particular village or one particular place. Even the whole idea about zoning is evidence of failure of leadership. If you have been having good leadership who were just, fair, honorable, honest, you and I will never mind if the president of Nigeria and the vice president are from the same house. It's because of lack of delivery of what has now been known as dividend of democracy or good governance. That's why people now think that if you don't come from a particular village, that village will never see progress. And it shouldn't be. My expectation is that I hope people will play by the rules and that the umpire will stand upright. That INEC will stand upright and do its duties in accordance with the enabling laws. And of course, this is a tall appeal, it is a tall order, that Nigerians should stop selling their franchise. You can't sell your vote and still expect that you're able to query those who emerged to do well. Because once you sell your vote, that is trading.
What I could achieve by my own hard work, by my principles, by my determination.
There's a lot of focus from the Nigerian Bar Association on ensuring the speedy dispensation of justice. We are pushing for practice directions.
If he's sick, he's not in a position to steer the affairs of the judiciary properly. And that may be what is responsible for shortcomings on his part.
I know him as a justice of the Supreme Court who is very hardworking. I believe if he do what he's supposed to do, that things will be better in the judiciary system.
You had backlog of cases. You could go to a court, for instance, and you see a case that's been in court for the past 9 years, for instance, and you haven't arrived at judgment.
If you have any of the challenges or the other, and you know you won't be able to put in your best in whatever that you are doing, the best thing is to step aside so that whoever that is there can be more effective.
And when people lose confidence in the courts, many investors who are from abroad will find it difficult to bring their money here.
It will not be difficult when you become full-fledged member of the profession to now abide by the ethics.
And that's about it from us to you. I believe you enjoyed it just the way I did. Don't forget to follow us next week, same time, same station. And don't forget to subscribe to our YouTube channel on Gladiators Track with Akon. Thanks and God bless.